if these lights make me look 30 or not, huh?
30? Damn, you look young.
Everybody always tells me that, but I'm like, and I love you, man. My bags are really popping today.
That's crazy. I always thought you were younger than Ab.
He totally lied when we met, and I still, you know, I'm a typical girl. I bring it up in fights, like, you're a liar. I've known since the day I met you. I love it. Yeah, he told me he was older than he was, and I think we both thought it was going to be casual, you know, and then I stuck around for his birthday, and then I was like, dude, you're barely 19. What the hell? I was already 21.
Oh, really?
And I told him he looks old.
Yeah, he does look old.
He acts old. He acts older than me.
Yeah. But how is it? I mean, you mentioned 30. So
okay, so I turned 30.
Wait, when was this? I had no idea you were
January 16th. And last year, if you would have asked, like when I turned 29, I remember thinking like, holy shit. Like, and then you start to think like, what have I accomplished? And then you start comparing yourself with other people. Like, well, I haven't done this and they've done that. And then I think about it like, where I was when I moved here 10 years ago is like completely different than where I'm at now. And then I think like, I've done this, I've done that, this, that. And then I think of all these things and I'm like, what am I complaining about really? Like what is so bad about being 30?
So your family's from what part of Mexico? I didn't even know you were
My dad's from Jalisco. My mom's from Sunnyside, Washington, which is like worse than Mexico. No, my mom was born, in Washington. Okay. My grandpa was born in Nuevo Leon. No, actually San Antonio, but he was raised in Nuevo Leon, which is like crazy because all the people like from around here, that's like where they're from. Right. And then my grandma is from Coahuila. So we're kind of like, I'm kind of like a little mix of everything.
And you lived in Sunnyside before you came?
No, I lived in Prosser.
When did you come here to Othello?
I moved here 2010.
Oh, okay.
And what was I? 21.
Yeah.
And Kane was like a year and a half. And Kane loves Othello. Like, I'll kind of like be like, you know, like we should move to Tri-Cities or everything. He's like, no, I'm gonna graduate from Othello. And I'm like, why? No. But he like loves it here. And actually it's kind of grown on me too. Like I remember the first few years I was here, it's like a tough town to like fit into because there's so many like, not really so many groups. They're just like the Christian group where you gotta be like goody two shoe, but then there's like the group where they're good peeps but they're not from that part of Mexico, but I still mess with them because I'm like, I could relate. And then there's like people that don't care about any of that, and I'm like, I like you guys too. So it's like kind of hard figuring out like where I fit in all of that.
How old were you when you guys got married?
I was 25. I was 24.
24. Oh, okay.
We got married in 2000. Oh my God, it's been 5 years now.
Yeah, man.
Time flies when you're having fun. I'm just kidding. Because he asked me on his birthday, and then we waited another year, and then we got married the day after his birthday. So my parents, they got together. Man, they were together for like 18 years because I was like that. Like one last shot at love, baby, you know? But yeah, it didn't work out then either. So if you're trying to work it out with your significant, don't have a baby to fix it. I'm sure I'm a blessing to them, but like, it was the last shot and they should not have done it. But my dad struggled with like alcoholism, and then he got into drugs, and then he got abusive with my mom. And then I think after a few years, she was always like super strong, and she could like mask it. And when she finally like left him, people that she worked with for years were like, wow, I didn't even know that was happening to you. Because she was just always happy, always strong, like your typical Mexican mom. Like, and then finally when it kind of started trickling down like to us, the abuse like to us, she was like, now I'm out. Then they kind of got the divorce, and so I was maybe 7, 8. And I had a relationship with my dad, but then again, he was still struggling with like alcoholism, drug addiction. So he'd be like, I'm gonna go pick you up. I'd be like, cool. Wait at the door, get all my stuff ready. I'm waiting. And this guy would never show up. I'm like, oh my God, tell me again. You're a kid. You're like so naive. You trust everything your parents say. So I'd wait. Finally, after like the 10th time, I was just like, I'm not waiting outside anymore. Screw this guy. And my mom called my dad like, just want to go.
Yeah.
And then he kind of figured out like when he could stop by, whatever. And I loved that man. Like, it's weird how it is. You could have like the shittiest parent, but you love them.
Yeah.
You are just programmed to love them. But I almost felt like sorry for him. And he really like overcompensated. Like he'd buy me a bike, or he'd buy me this, or he'd take me there, just let me spend on whatever. And that was cool as a kid. What kid's not gonna like that? As I got older, I realized like my love can't be bought. Like I need you to show up, I need you to be present. And like he wasn't always. And then he got deported, went to Mexico, and I never saw him again. Last year we went to California, got in touch with his sister, who I met like when I was 7. And the first day we didn't talk about my dad. The second day we're like, okay, Thea, like stop tiptoeing.
Right.
Tell us what's going down. Like, where's he at? What's he doing? Blah, blah. And she told us like he's working here. He lives here. People from our old town have never seen him, so I don't think he's ever gone back, whatever. We get back, and a month later she calls us and says like, are you guys all together? And we're like, yeah. She's like, they just found your dad. Like, they found him dead. And we're like, what? Like, and it was just such a shock. And I think that was like a very therapeutic trip for me. Like I realized like he wasn't just like that with us, he was like that with her. He was like that with his own mom. Some people just don't have like that like connection to like their family. And I remember just being like, no, it was never personal. Like it was never just me or my siblings or my mom. He was like that to his sisters, his brothers, his parents. Like, how are you gonna show love to your kid? You can't show love to your parents. Like, I told her like, when my mom gets old, we're gonna be there for her. We're gonna take care of her. I'll let her move in with me. Like, I'm gonna be there. When my dad gets old, who's gonna care for him? Like, no one's. He's gonna die alone, and that always bothered me. And I don't know why. Like, it's your parent. So then she was like, "Isn't that crazy? Like, now your burdens are like laid to rest. Like, God heard you, and he's fine now. Like, he's at peace. He's with your grandparents. Like, all this stuff." And at the time, I was like, "You're right." But then like a month went by, and I remember telling Abby like, "I don't think I'm okay. Like, I'm never gonna see him. There's the possibility of like anything happening, him ever meeting the kids, it's gone. Like, like having any like resolution, or me telling him like, you know what, Dad, I still love you. I'm never gonna have that opportunity. Like, it's gone." I think I was like in a dark place maybe like for those few months, and I came out of it, and I made sure to like tell people that we're here, I love you, I appreciate you, whatever. Make amends with stupid arguments that I had with people that were like, when I think about it, I'm like, what was my part in it? I need to own my shit. I need to apologize. But I feel like because of that, like coming into this year, I'm more like present, more aware. I'm like ready, you know? And you know what? I always wanted to be that mom that my mom was, and like, don't let your kids see you cry and this and that. But it's like, that's really not how life is. Like, sometimes it's really shitty. Like, sometimes it hurts, and your kids can see you hurt and grow and like cope with it and deal with it. And like when I start crying, the boys were just like,
and I know what to do.
Like, my mom's crying, you know? And they always freak out. And I'm like, you guys, it's okay. But I'm like, the older I get, the softer I get, the more my kids are like, my mom's probably gonna cry. Like, but before, it was always like, I don't want them to see, I don't want to be vulnerable in front of them. And now I want them to know, like, yeah, you can feel all these things. You probably shouldn't stay there forever, but feel them, process, and move on. Learn from it and move on. And hopefully I'm doing that for the boys, and they follow in that, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to them one day.
Okay, so you had Kane before that?
Yes.
Already?
I had Kane, and Kane was like, ooh, he'd be like 5 months, and never treated him any different. Helicopter dad. He's really supportive. Like, he's the one who started calling him Golden Boy, and that was cool until we had Kai. Then I'm like, what is Kai, chop liver? Like, this guy's the Golden Boy. Who is he? Like, what boy is he? growing up, Kane's dad was an overachiever like Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think looking back now, he was depressed. And he dealt with like kind of a rough childhood. His mom was single. She ended up meeting a couple bad dudes. And then she took on to like drugs, like hardcore. Like when I met him in 8th grade and we were like going out, when you don't go out anywhere, but like you're going out.
Right.
She was like pretty healthy, but had barely started. By the time we graduated, she was like heavy into it. Never saw her. And I think that takes a toll on a kid. Well, he would be like depressed. Like I would call him every day and be like, hey, like, are you gonna come to school today? Do you want my mom to pick you up? Like, whatever. Just so he would go. Because he was like, Kane, so much potential, super athletic, really smart, whatever. And he'd be like, no, I don't feel good. No, bro, you're depressed. Like, he would just sleep and sleep and sleep. And looking back now, I wish I would have been like, I think you need to talk to somebody or whatever. But he ended up doing the same thing, self-medicating. And it's easy when you're barely starting. Like, no one wakes up and says, like, I'm going to be a drug addict today, you know? You do it behind closed doors. Then you kind of need it. And then it's like, there's no getting out.
Right.
So he struggled with addiction. And it's like, I think it's like pills. So it's something that you don't see. Like, you're not going to find pipes and this and that. No, it's like in your pocket. You digest it. That's it. And it's scary. You don't even know what you're taking. So it's like, we've been struggling with that since Kane was born. It doesn't just hurt the addict. It hurts your kids, their parents, your family, the people that you burn, just everything. I grew up with him like we were kids, and when I look back, I think like, damn, that could have been me. It could have been the other way around, and I would never want him to just be like, just give up, and we're gonna take the kid away, never gonna see him, because I know what it's like to not have a parent present. And so I'm like, I'm always gonna give him the opportunity to do the right thing, and it's really gonna be up to him. And I think his dad's doing good actually lately, as of lately, but it's a battle every day. So every day we pray, every day we're aware, like, no one plans on being an addict. It just happens over time, and then you're just stuck in it. There's no way out. And he prays for like his dad to overcome the addiction.
Oh, so he knows. Oh, okay.
He's very much aware, and I like to be honest with him because I don't remember what lies I'm going to tell you, and I'm not gonna. I want him to trust me because I'm his mom. Like, who else is he going to trust? So I was like upfront with him about it because I had to keep him like a couple times. And then now he's very much aware. I feel like because of it, it's made him more like considerate, compassionate of like others. And a lot of people would be like, I feel like he doesn't need to know. But it's like, you don't come home with me and have to answer, why hasn't my dad called, or why haven't I seen my dad in a month, or whatever, you know? So yeah, everyone knows we live here. Thalia, I saw her the other day. I was doing that Christmas committee, and she goes, hey, how do you like your house? And we've been living here for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like it. Why? It's nothing.
Shit.
And I'm like, what does that mean? So I told her, no, you already said, like, tell me what you want to say. And then she's like, well, it's just because my cousins used to live there and they said it was haunted. I'm like, oh gosh. Dude, that night I came home and I didn't even want to ask any more questions. I was like, what? And I was like, well, I haven't heard anything. I haven't felt anything. I'm like laying down. And then I couldn't sleep, and I fell asleep, and then I woke up and I was like, man, I don't even want to look at the time, because if it's 3 o'clock, I'm screwed. I'm dead. Like, and then I was like, telling Ab, like, man, I didn't sleep very good last night. He's like, why? I'm like, cause someone told me that our house is haunted. Selina, who said that? And I told her, Dalia told me, and she said that her family used to live here. Which room? And I'm like, why do you say which room? Is there a certain room? He's like, no, but Mexicans always have like a certain room, you know. That's like, oh.
That's dope, man.
But now, like, the ice maker will go off, and I'm like, what was that? It's haunted. He's like, calm down. That's a fridge. I'm like, oh, okay. Do your kids sleepwalk, or do they do any like creepy stuff at night?
No,
God, wait till they do. Wait till they do.
Hell no.
Kane went through this sleepwalking stage one time, and I used to just get him and put him back in his bed, you know. And it was fine. Well, one day, and we had a monitor because like in the house that we used to rent, like all the master bedroom was here and all the bedrooms were over here. So I went to go check on him, and I like cut through the laundry room, and I went in his room and he wasn't there.
Man.
And I'm like, where's this guy at? Because I could hear him on the monitor. Well, I look in the living room and he's like standing in the middle of the living room.
Oh my God.
And his eyes are open and he's like staring at something and he's like, can somebody help me? Can somebody help me, please? Like he's talking. I freaking went back to the room and I jump on the bed and I tell Abby, Abby, go get Kane. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because I don't know. He's like talking. He's in the middle of it. He's like, Selena, calm down. You're scared of your own kid. And I was like, yes, he's creepy. I was like, go see him. And then Abby's like never scared. He like goes, puts him in his bedroom. And he's like, I can't believe you're scared of your own kid. That's crazy. I'm like, I got scared. He's like, well, stop watching all your shit. Stop doing all. And I'm like, I know. Sometimes I fill my head with all these crazy things. He's like, you're scared of your own kid. He's just sleepwalking. So wait till they do that.
I really hope they don't, man. That would be crazy.
It's going to happen one day. It's coming. You got to kind of play it cool. Like, what's up? You know, like. That's how you know you're getting old.
I know. It's a rough life.
You know what? When I drink, I'm hungover till like Tuesday. And I drink on Saturday. So I tell me, dude, how did I used to go like days drinking? Like
young,
now,
man.
and you're like, don't get tired. You don't feel sick. I'm like eating crap the day after, but the day after I'm like dead. I tell me like, I'm gonna die. I'm never drinking again. I'm never gonna drink again. He's like, oh, whatever, Selena. And then like a month later, he'll be like, I thought you weren't gonna drink again. I'm like, well, yeah, that was like a month ago. I got over it.
All right, Selena. See you later.